The galactic onslaught, the star-studded expanse of space, had always beckoned humanity, a siren call of endless possibility. But on that fateful day in 2157, the void answered back with a fury that shook the very foundations of Earth. They came without warning, their ships blotting out the sun like a swarm of locusts. The Vraxian Empire, a race of silicon-based life forms, had set their sights on Earth and its abundant resources. Their crystalline vessels, each the size of a small moon, hung in low orbit, casting ominous shadows across the planet's surface. Dr. Samantha Chen, lead astrophysicist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, was the first to detect the anomalies. "This can't be right," she muttered, her eyes fixed on the rapidly changing data scrolling across her screens. "These energy signatures, they're off the charts." Before she could alert her superiors, the sky erupted in a dazzling display of destructive power. Beams of coherent light, more powerful than anything humanity had ever witnessed, lanced down from the alien ships. Cities around the globe were reduced to smoldering craters in a matter of minutes. As chaos reigned and governments scrambled to respond, an unlikely hero emerged from the ashes of Washington, D.C. Marine Corps General Marcus Hawthorne, a grizzled veteran of countless earthbound conflicts, found himself thrust into the role of humanity's defender. "Ladies and gentlemen," Hawthorne addressed the emergency session of the United Nations via holographic link, his voice gravelly but unwavering. "We face an enemy unlike any we've encountered before. But make no mistake, humanity will not go quietly into the night. We will fight, we will survive, and we will prevail." His words, broadcast across every remaining communication channel, sparked a fire in the hearts of people worldwide. From the rubble of destroyed cities and the depths of underground bunkers, humanity began to rally. Dr. Chen, who had narrowly escaped the destruction of JPL, found herself working alongside General Hawthorne and a diverse team of brilliant minds from around the world. Together, they formed the core of the hastily assembled Earth Defense Force, EDF. "We need to understand their technology," Chen insisted during one of their first strategy meetings. "If we can decrypt their communication signals, we might gain insight into their weaknesses." Hawthorne nodded, his steely gaze sweeping across the room. "Agreed. But we also need to buy time. Every second we survive is another second. We have to find a way to fight back." As the EDF worked tirelessly to unravel the mysteries of Vraxian technology, the alien invaders continued their relentless assault. Major cities fell one by one, but humanity's spirit remained unbroken. In the face of overwhelming odds, people from all walks of life banded together, sharing resources and protecting one another. In the ruins of London, a group of civilian volunteers, led by former Royal Air Force pilot Evelyn Spitfire Lancaster, organized a daring rescue mission. Using retrofitted commercial drones, they managed to evacuate hundreds of survivors from beneath the noses of patrolling Vraxian scouts. Meanwhile, in the dense jungles of Brazil, indigenous tribes joined forces with stranded scientists to create a network of hidden communities. Their intimate knowledge of the land, combined with cutting-edge camouflage technology, kept them safe from the aliens' thermal imaging scans. Back at EDF headquarters, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a breakthrough finally came. Dr. Raj Patel, a quantum computing specialist, managed to isolate a pattern in the Vraxian communications. "It's not a language, at least not in the way we understand it," Patel explained, his eyes alight with excitement. "Their entire system is based on crystalline resonance patterns. If we can replicate these patterns, we might be able to interfere with their communications." Chen finished, a glimmer of hope in her voice. General Hawthorne leaned forward, his battle-hardened face etched with determination. "How long until we can weaponize this discovery?" Patel and Chen exchanged glances. "A few weeks, maybe a month," Chen replied. "But General, there's something else. These resonance patterns, they're not just for communication. We think they might be integral to the Vraxians' very existence." Hawthorne's eyes narrowed. "Explain." "Sir," Patel began, "we believe the Vraxians are a collective consciousness. Each ship, each individual is like a node in a vast, crystalline network. If we could disrupt that network, we might be able to shatter their entire empire." Hawthorne finished, a grim smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Well done, both of you. Now let's turn this theory into a reality." As the EDF redoubled their efforts, news of the potential breakthrough spread through the resistance networks. Hope, that most resilient of human emotions, began to flourish once more. In the skies above what was once Tokyo, Spitfire Lancaster and her multinational squadron of cobbled-together fighters engaged in a daring hit-and-run attack against a Vraxian supply convoy. Their agility and unpredictable tactics caught the aliens off guard, resulting in the destruction of several key resource ships. "Take that, you oversized snow globes," Lancaster whooped as she banked her craft sharply, narrowly avoiding a retaliatory energy blast. Her victory was short-lived, however, as a massive Vraxian battleship suddenly materialized above the city. Its crystalline surface pulsed with an otherworldly light, and a low, resonant hum filled the air. "All units, fall back," Lancaster ordered, her voice tight with tension. "We've kicked the hornet's nest now." As the human fighters scattered, the Vraxian battleship unleashed a barrage of energy weapons that lit up the sky like 1,000 suns. The devastation was catastrophic, but Lancaster and most of her squadron managed to escape, carrying with them valuable combat data for the EDF. In the aftermath of the Tokyo engagement, General Hawthorne called an emergency meeting of the EDF's top brass. "Time is running out," he growled, his fists clenched at his sides. "We need to move forward with Operation Starfall immediately." Dr. Chen stepped forward, her face a mask of concern. "But sir, we haven't fully tested the resonance disruptor. We can't be certain of its effects on a large scale." Hawthorne's eyes blazed with a mixture of desperation and determination. "We're out of options, Doctor. The Vraxians are preparing for their final push. If we don't act now, there won't be an Earth left to save." As the room erupted into heated debate, a young technician burst through the door, his face pale with shock. "Sir, Mom, we're picking up a new signal. It's not Vraxian. I think we're being hailed by another alien species." The room fell silent as all eyes turned to the main view screen. Static crackled for a moment before resolving into the image of a being unlike anything they had ever seen. It was vaguely humanoid, with iridescent skin and large, multifaceted eyes that seemed to shimmer with intelligence. "People of Earth," the alien spoke, its voice a melodious trill that somehow conveyed perfect English. "We are the Luminary. We have observed your struggle against the Vraxian Empire, and we come to offer our assistance. Your courage and resilience have impressed us greatly. Together, we may yet turn the tide of this war." As the transmission ended, the members of the EDF looked at each other in stunned silence. The arrival of the Luminary had changed everything. Humanity was no longer alone in its fight for survival. General Hawthorne was the first to speak, his voice filled with renewed purpose. "Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems the galaxy has taken notice of humanity's stand. Let's show them what we're really capable of." With the promise of alien allies and the weapon that could turn the tide of war, humanity prepared to launch its most daring offensive yet. The battle for Earth, and perhaps the future of the galaxy, was about to begin. Operation Starfall. The cavernous war room of the Earth Defense Force headquarters buzzed with nervous energy as General Marcus Hawthorne strode to the center of the holographic display. The three-dimensional representation of Earth hung suspended in the air, its surface marred by pulsing red markers indicating Vraxian strongholds. "Ladies and gentlemen," Hawthorne began, his voice cutting through the murmur of conversation, "what you're about to hear is classified at the highest level. Operation Starfall is a go." A collective intake of breath rippled through the assembled military and scientific personnel. They had all heard whispers of the operation, but details have been scarce until now. Dr. Samantha Chen stepped forward, her usual lab coat replaced by a crisp EDF uniform. Thanks to the data provided by the luminary, we've identified a critical weakness in the Vraxian defense network, she explained, manipulating the hologram to zoom in on a specific location in Earth's orbit. The Vraxians maintain their collective consciousness through a series of relay stations, Chen continued. This one, designated Alpha Prime, is the linchpin of their entire operation in our solar system. Hawthorne nodded grimly. Our mission is simple but far from easy. We're going to take out Alpha Prime and deploy our resonance disruptor at the heart of their network. The room erupted in a flurry of questions and exclamations. Hawthorne raised a hand for silence. I know it sounds impossible. That's why we're not going in alone. On cue, the hologram shifted to display a fleet of sleek, otherworldly ships. The luminary have pledged their support, Hawthorne explained. Their advanced cloaking technology will allow us to get close enough to deploy our strike teams. As the general outlined the details of the operation, key members of the strike force listened intently. Among them was Major Zara Khalil, a former Special Forces operative known for her unparalleled skills in zero combat. Beside her sat Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka, a prodigy in cyber warfare who had been instrumental in decoding Vraxian communications. Once we're aboard Alpha Prime, Khalil spoke up, her voice steady despite the enormity of the task ahead. How long will we have to plant the disruptor and get out? Chen's expression was grave as she replied, no more than 20 minutes. After that, the Vraxians will detect the intrusion and bring their full might to bear on the station. Tanaka leaned forward, his young face creased with concern. And what about the Vraxians themselves? We'll be at the heart of their hive mind. Won't they be able to sense our presence immediately? It was Dr. Raj Patel who answered, stepping up to the hologram and bringing up a schematic of a sleek, form-fitting suit. That's where these come in. We've developed a series of personal resonance dampeners that should mask your presence from the Vraxian consciousness. But they're prototypes, untested in actual combat conditions. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They would be going in practically blind, relying on untested technology and the support of aliens they had only just met. Hawthorne's voice cut through the tension. I won't sugarcoat this. This mission is high risk with a significant chance of failure. But it's the best shot we have at turning the tide of this war. I need volunteers. Without hesitation, Khalil and Tanaka stood, followed quickly by others in the room. The general nodded, a hint of pride in his eyes. Very well. Gear up and report to Launch Bay 7 in 1 hour. Godspeed, all of you. As the briefing dispersed, Chen caught up with Hawthorne in the corridor. Marcus, she said, dropping the formality of rank, are you sure about this? We're betting everything on this operation. Hawthorne's face softened for a moment, showing a glimpse of the weight he carried. We don't have a choice, Sam. It's this or watch our world burn. An hour later, the strike team assembled in the launch bay. The luminary ship that would transport them to Alpha Prime loomed before them, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly iridescence. As the team boarded, Khalil couldn't help but marvel at the alien technology surrounding them. The interior of the ship seemed to pulse with life, responding to the thoughts and movements of its occupants. A luminary guide, introducing itself as Zara, greeted them. We are honored to fight alongside you, it trilled, its multifaceted eyes reflecting the determination of the human soldiers. Your species has shown remarkable courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Tanaka, busy calibrating his equipment, looked up with a nervous smile. Let's hope that courage is enough to see us through this. The journey to Alpha Prime was surreal. Thanks to the luminary's advanced propulsion technology, what should have been an hours-long trip took mere minutes. As they approached the massive Vraxian relay station, the true scale of their mission became apparent. Alpha Prime was a colossal structure, easily dwarfing the largest human space stations. Its crystalline surface pulsed with energy, each flicker representing countless thoughts and commands flowing through the Vraxian network. Remember, Khalil addressed her team as they prepared for insertion. We go in fast and quiet. Plant the disruptor, then get out. No heroics, no detours. Zyra's voice chimed in their comms. We've engaged our cloaking field. You have a clear path to the designated entry point. May fortune favor your endeavor. With a hiss of depressurization, the airlock opened and the strike team launched themselves towards Alpha Prime. Their resonance-dampening suits glowed faintly as they activated, shrouding the humans from the Vraxians' collective senses. As they maneuvered through the crystalline corridors of the station, Tanaka worked feverishly on his portable terminal. I'm picking up some strange readings, he whispered into the comm. The data flows here. They're unlike anything we've seen before. Khalil, leading the way with her weapon at the ready, grunted in acknowledgement. Stay focused on the mission, Lieutenant. We can analyze the data later, if we survive. They encountered no resistance as they made their way deeper into the heart of Alpha Prime. The eerie silence, broken only by the faint hum of energy coursing through the station, set everyone on edge. Finally, they'd reached the central core. A massive crystalline structure pulsed before them, tendrils of energy arsing between its facets in a hypnotic dance. This is it, Tanaka breathed, awe momentarily overriding his fear. The nexus of their entire network. Khalil snapped him back to attention. Plant the disruptor. We've got less than 10 minutes before our window closes. As Tanaka worked to integrate the human device with the alien technology, the rest of the team formed a defensive perimeter. The minutes ticked by with agonizing slowness. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. The crystalline walls began to pulse with an angry red light. They've detected us, Khalil shouted. Tanaka. Status. Almost there, the young lieutenant called back, his fingers flying over his equipment. Just need another 30 seconds. But they didn't have 30 seconds. The far end of the chamber burst open, and a wave of Vraxian defenders poured in. Their crystalline bodies shimmered with deadly, intent, faceted limbs morphing into deadly weapons. Protect Tanaka, Khalil roared, opening fire with her pulse rifle. The rest of the team followed suit, their weapons designed specifically to disrupt the crystalline structure of the Vraxians. The air filled with the sound of shattering crystal as the first wave of defenders fell. But more kept coming, their collective consciousness adapting to the humans' tactics with terrifying speed. Done. Tanaka yelled triumphantly, slamming his hand down on the activation switch of the disruptor. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a wave of energy unlike anything they had ever seen before erupted from the device. It swept through the chamber, causing the Vraxians to writhe in apparent agony. The pulsing lights of the station flickered and died. Fall back, Khalil ordered, laying down covering fire as her team retreated towards their extraction point. As they ran through the now darkened corridors of Alpha Prime, the entire structure began to shake violently. Pieces of crystal rained down around them, forcing them to dodge and weave as they made their escape. Zira. Khalil shouted into her comm. We need immediate extraction. The luminary's voice crackled through, distorted by interference. Understood, Major. Prepare for emergency teleportation. Just as they reached the outer hull of the station, a blinding light enveloped the team. When it faded, they found themselves back aboard the luminary ship, gasping and disoriented. Through the viewscreen, they watched in awe as Alpha Prime began to disintegrate, its crystalline structure collapsing in on itself. The destruction spread like a shockwave through nearby Vraxian ships, leaving them drifting and lifeless. By all that's holy, one of the soldiers whispered, We did it. Tanaka, still breathing heavily, managed a weak smile. Operation Starfall. Successful. As the luminary ship sped them back towards Earth, Khalil allowed herself a moment of hope. They had struck a decisive blow against the Vraxians, but the war was far from over. The real test would come in the days ahead, as humanity and their new allies pressed their advantage. Back on Earth, in the EDF headquarters, General Hawthorne watched the incoming data with a mixture of relief and grim determination. "Well done, team," he murmured, though they couldn't hear him. "Now, let's finish this fight." As news of the successful operation spread, a wave of renewed hope swept across the planet. Humanity had proven itself capable of standing toe-to-toe with an advanced alien race, and with the help of the Luminary, they now had a fighting chance. But even as they celebrated this victory, the leaders of the EDF knew that the Vraxians would not go down without a fight. The next phase of the war would be crucial, and humanity would need every ounce of its legendary ingenuity and determination to see it through. In the medical bay of the EDF headquarters, Dr. Chen tended to the returning strike team, her face a mixture of concern and pride. "You've given us a chance," she told them, her voice thick with emotion. "Now it's up to all of us to make the most of it." As the adrenaline of their mission faded, the reality of what they had accomplished began to sink in. They had struck a blow not just for Earth, but potentially for countless other worlds that had fallen victim to the Vraxian Empire. Khalil, her arm in a sling from an injury sustained during their escape, looked out at the scared but unbroken Earth through a nearby window. "We've shown them what humanity is capable of," she said softly. "And we're just getting started." The unlikely alliance. The success of Operation Starfall had changed the dynamic of the war, but victory was far from assured. As the dust settled from the destruction of Alpha Prime, both humanity and the Luminary found themselves facing an enemy driven to new heights of desperation and fury. In the weeks that followed, the Vraxian Empire launched a series of brutal counterattacks. While their coordination was severely hampered by the loss of their primary relay station, their sheer numbers and technological superiority still made them a formidable threat. It was during one of these attacks, a massive assault on the lunar colonies, that humanity's resilience truly shone. Colonel Elena Rodriguez, commander of Lunar Defense Base Alpha, rallied her troops in the face of overwhelming odds. "We are the line in the regolith," she shouted over the base-wide comm as Vraxian dropships descended from orbit. "We fight not just for Earth, not just for humanity, but for every species that has ever faced the tyranny of the Vraxian Empire. Stand fast." The battle that ensued was nothing short of epic. Human ingenuity clashed with alien technology in a furious struggle for survival. Makeshift weapons, cobbled together from mining equipment and repurposed satellites, proved surprisingly effective against the crystalline invaders. In the midst of the chaos, a young engineer named Aisha Patel had a breakthrough. Using the moon's natural electromagnetic field, she devised a way to create localized disruptions in the Vraxians' communication network. The invaders, suddenly cut off from their hive mind, found themselves confused and disoriented. As news of the lunar victory spread, it became clear that humanity's greatest strength lay not in matching the Vraxians' technology, but in adapting and innovating in ways the hive-minded aliens couldn't anticipate. Back on Earth, the alliance between humans and Luminary was deepening. Cultural exchanges were taking place alongside military strategy sessions, as both species sought to understand one another better. Dr. Chen found herself working closely with Zura, the Luminary who had assisted in Operation Starfall. Together, they delved into the intricacies of Vraxian biology, seeking weaknesses that could be exploited. Their crystalline structure, Zyra explained, its multifaceted eyes shifting in patterns that Chen had learned to recognize as excitement. It's not just their bodies. It's the physical manifestation of their consciousness. Chen nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "So if we could find a way to disrupt the crystalline lattice on a fundamental level, we could potentially sever their connection to the hive mind permanently," Zyra finished. As they worked, Chen couldn't help but marvel at the Luminary's approach to science. Where humans tended to specialize, the Luminary saw all knowledge as interconnected, leading to insights that might never have occurred to human researchers alone. Meanwhile, on the diplomatic front, United Nations Ambassador Kira Yoshida found herself in the unprecedented position of negotiating humanity's place in a much larger galactic community. The Vraxian threat has opened many eyes. A luminary elder named Ilara told her during one such meeting, "Your species' stand against them has not gone unnoticed. There are other races, long cowed by the Empire, who are beginning to see hope for the first time in millennia." Yoshida leaned forward, her eyes sharp. "Are you saying there might be other potential allies out there?" Ilara's skin shimmered in what Yoshida had come to recognize as a gesture of affirmation. "Indeed. But tread carefully, Ambassador. The galaxy is a complex place, and not all who oppose the Vraxians will necessarily be friends to humanity." As if to underscore the Elder's warning, reports began to filter in of a new alien presence in the solar system. General Hawthorne called an emergency meeting of the EDF's top brass and their luminary counterparts. "We're picking up signals from the outer system," he reported, his face grim. "A new fleet, definitely not Vraxian, but not matching any luminary signatures either." Zyra, present as the luminary liaison, trilled in concern. "We have our suspicions about who they might be, a race known as the Skval. They've had conflicts with the Vraxians in the past." "Potential allies?" Hawthorne asked. Zyra's skin darkened, a sign of caution. "Possibly, but the Skval are known for their opportunism. They may see the weakened Vraxian presence as a chance to expand their own influence." As the implications sank in, the room filled with tense murmurs. Humanity had barely begun to find its footing in this new cosmic conflict. The idea of having to navigate the complex politics of multiple alien races was daunting, to say the least. But amidst the concern, there was also a growing sense of excitement. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, no longer confined to its small corner of the galaxy. The challenges ahead were immense, but so too were the possibilities. Ambassador Yoshida, her diplomatic instincts kicking into high gear, was the first to speak. "We need to establish contact with the Skval immediately. If they're potential allies, we need to secure their support. If they're a new threat, we need to know as soon as possible." Hawthorne nodded in agreement. "Agreed. But we proceed with caution. Zyra will need the luminaries' insights on Skval culture and diplomacy." As the meeting adjourned, the various leaders broke into small groups, already beginning to plan for this new development. The war against the Vraxians had entered a new phase, one that would require all of humanity's adaptability and diplomatic skill. Dr. Chen, her mind still racing with the possibilities of the research she and Zyra had been conducting, caught up with Hawthorne in the corridor. "General," she said, her voice tight with excitement, "I think we might be on the verge of a major breakthrough. If we can get more data on the Vraxians' crystalline structure, especially during active combat." Hawthorne held up a hand, a small smile breaking through his usual stern demeanor. "One potential game-changer at a time, Doctor. But keep at it. We're going to need every advantage we can get." As they parted ways, Shen couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity was holding its own among the stars, its creativity and determination proving to be assets as valuable as any advanced technology. The next few weeks would be crucial. As humanity prepared to make first contact with the Skval, the Vraxians were undoubtedly regrouping, preparing for their next major offensive. The Sol system had become a cosmic chessboard, with the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. But as news of these developments spread, the people of Earth responded not with fear, but with a renewed sense of purpose. Volunteers flooded recruitment centers, scientists worked around the clock, and a spirit of global unity unprecedented in human history took hold. The message was clear: whatever challenges the universe might throw at them, humanity would face them head-on. They had come too far, sacrificed too much, to back down now. As the sun set on another day of this new era, Ambassador Yoshida stood at the window of her office in Geneva, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Skval fleet was approaching. Somewhere out there, the Vraxians were planning their next move. But here on Earth, humanity was ready. Ready to fight, ready to negotiate, ready to claim its place among the stars. The next chapter of human history was about to be written, and it promised to be the most exciting one yet. The turning point. The arrival of the Scythal fleet in the outer reaches of the solar system marked a critical juncture in Earth's interstellar conflict. As tensions mounted, humanity found itself walking the diplomatic tightrope, balancing between potential new allies and the ever-present Vraxian threat. Ambassador Kira Yoshida, flanked by a team of human and luminary advisors, made history as she boarded the Scythal flagship for first contact negotiations. The alien vessel was a marvel of bioengineering, its corridors pulsing with an eerie bioluminescent glow. The Scythal themselves were a striking sight. Tall, willowy beings with iridescent skin and multiple sets of arms, they moved with a fluid grace that belied their predatory nature. Their leader, Supreme Coordinator Zixara, fixed Yoshida with a penetrating gaze from compound eyes that seemed to shimmer with calculation. "We have observed your conflict with the Vraxians," Zixara began, her voice a melodious hum that the translation devices struggled to keep up with. "Your species has shown unexpected resilience." Yoshida, drawing on years of diplomatic experience, inclined her head respectfully. "The people of Earth are grateful for your interest, Supreme Coordinator. We hope that our shared opposition to Vraxian expansion might form the basis for a mutually beneficial alliance." What followed was a grueling week of negotiations. The Scythal, true to Zura's warning, proved to be shrewd and opportunistic. They were willing to offer military support against the Vraxians, but their price was steep: exclusive mining rights to several asteroid belts and moons in the outer solar system. As discussions wore on, tensions on Earth reached a fever pitch. General Hawthorne and the EDF remained on high alert, wary of both Vraxian retaliation and potential Scythal treachery. It was during this precarious diplomatic dance that Dr. Samantha Chen and her luminary colleague Zura made their breakthrough. General Hawthorne. Chen burst into the EDF command center, her eyes wild with excitement. "We've done it. We've found a way to completely disrupt the Vraxian hive mind." Hawthorne, in the middle of a strategy session, looked up sharply. "Explain, Doctor." Quickly. Chen pulled up a holographic display, showing a complex molecular structure. "It's a targeted resonance cascade. By introducing this compound into their crystalline matrix, we can trigger a chain reaction that will shatter their collective consciousness." Zura, its skin pulsing with excited bioluminescence, chimed in. "The effect would be devastating. Without the hive mind, the Vraxians would be reduced to individual entities, unable to coordinate or function as a cohesive force." The implications were staggering. This wasn't just a weapon, it was a potential end to the war itself. But ethical concerns immediately arose. Would this amount to a form of genocide? Could they justify essentially lobotomizing an entire species, even in the name of self-defense? As debates raged in the highest levels of government and military, events in space took an unexpected turn. A massive Vraxian battle fleet, larger than any seen before, suddenly appeared at the edge of the solar system. Their target wasn't Earth, but the Scythal diplomatic fleet. In a matter of hours, the solar system erupted into a three-way battle of epic proportions. The Scythal, their negotiations with Earth forgotten, fought desperately against the Vraxian onslaught. Earth's forces, led by the indomitable Colonel Elena Rodriguez, found themselves thrust into the fray, fighting alongside aliens they barely understood against a common enemy. The battle was chaos incarnate. Vraxian crystal ships clashed with Scythal biovessels, while human fighters darted between them, their advanced ECM suites keeping them one step ahead of the alien targeting systems. In the midst of the furious space combat, a small, elite team led by Major Zura Khalil embarked on a daring mission. Their objective: to infiltrate the Vraxian command ship and deploy Dr. Chen's resonance cascade device. As Khalil's team fought their way through the crystalline corridors of the Vraxian vessel, Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka worked feverishly to hack into the ship's systems. "Major," he called out, his voice tense, I'm detecting some kind of buildup in their main weapon array. Whatever they're planning, it's big." Khalil, her face set in grim determination, nodded. "Then we better make this quick. How much further to the central core?" Before Tanaka could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Through the crystalline walls, they could see a massive energy beam lancing out from the Vraxian flagship, cutting a swath of destruction through the Scythal fleet. "That's it," Tanaka exclaimed. "They're using some kind of amplified version of their hive mind to power the weapon. If we can disrupt it, we can take out their biggest gun," Khalil finished. "Move it, people. Double time." As the team raced towards the ship's core, the battle outside reached a fever pitch. The Scythal, reeling from the devastating Vraxian attack, began to retreat. Earth's forces, vastly outgunned, fought desperately to hold the line. In EDF headquarters, General Hawthorne watched the unfolding carnage with a heavy heart. "We can't hold out much longer," he muttered, more to himself than to his staff. "Khalil, whatever you're going to do it now." As if in answer to his plea, a sudden silence fell over the battlefield. The Vraxian ships, moments ago unleashing destruction on a cosmic scale, suddenly went dark. Inside the Vraxian flagship, Khalil and her team stood before the pulsing crystalline core, the resonance cascade device humming with power. "Package delivered," she reported, her voice tight with exhaustion and adrenaline. "I think it worked, sir." Worked it had, beyond their wildest expectations. The resonance cascade spread through the Vraxian fleet like wildfire, shattering the hive mind that had held their empire together for millennia. Ships drifted aimlessly, their crews reduced to confused individual entities. As the implications of what had just occurred sank in, a stunned silence fell over the Earth forces. They had done it. They had defeated an enemy that had seemed unbeatable mere months ago. But victory, as it turned out, was just the beginning of a new set of challenges. As Khalil's team was extracted from the Vraxian flagship, questions began to pour in from all quarters. What would become of the now individualized Vraxians? How would this shift the balance of power in the galaxy? And what of the Scythal, whose true motives remained unclear? Ambassador Yoshida, watching the aftermath of the battle from the relative safety of a human destroyer, felt the weight of these questions pressing down on her. "We've won the war," she murmured to her aides, "but now we have to win the peace." As reports of the Vraxian defeat spread across Earth, celebrations erupted in cities around the globe. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But as the initial euphoria faded, a new understanding began to take hold. Earth was no longer alone in the cosmos. For better or worse, humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. The future that lay ahead was uncertain, filled with both incredible opportunities and daunting challenges. Dr. Chen, watching the celebrations from the EDF laboratory where she had made her breakthrough, felt a mixture of pride and apprehension. "We did it," she said softly to Zira, who stood beside her. "We really did it." The luminary's skin pulsed with a complex pattern of colors. "Indeed, Dr. Chen. But I suspect your species' greatest adventures are just beginning." As the sun rose on a new era for humanity, the people of Earth looked to the stars with a newfound sense of wonder and determination. They had proven themselves equal to the greatest threat they had ever faced. Now, it was time to see what else the universe had in store for them. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The age of human ascendancy among the stars had begun. Humanity ascendant. In the months following the decisive battle against the Vraxians, Earth found itself at the center of a rapidly changing galactic landscape. The fall of the Vraxian Empire had created a power vacuum, and species across the galaxy were scrambling to adapt to this new reality. On Earth, the euphoria of victory had given way to a mix of cautious optimism and daunting responsibility. Humanity had proven its mettle on the cosmic stage, but now faced the challenge of navigating a complex interstellar political environment. Ambassador Kira Yoshida stood before the newly formed Galactic Council, a hastily assembled body of representatives from various alien races. The Grand Chamber, located on a neutral space station at the edge of the solar system, buzzed with a cacophony of translated voices and the rustle of diverse alien physiologies. "Fellow sentients," Yoshida began, her voice clear and steady despite the gravity of the moment. "The defeat of the Vraxian Empire marks not an end, but a beginning. We stand at the threshold of a new era, one that offers us all the opportunity to forge a more just and peaceful galaxy." As she spoke, Yoshida couldn't help but marvel at the diversity before her. The luminary, Earth's steadfast allies, sat alongside the opportunistic Scathal. Representatives from dozens of formerly subjugated races, only now free to make their voices heard, filled the chamber with a riot of colors, shapes, and sizes. "Humanity comes before you not as conquerors, but as partners," Yoshida continued. "We offer our innovation, our adaptability, and our unwavering spirit to the cause of building a better future for all sentient beings." The response was mixed. Some races, impressed by Earth's stand against the Vraxians, were eager to establish closer ties. Others viewed the newcomers with suspicion, wary of any race that could so quickly rise to prominence. As diplomatic efforts unfolded in space, Earth itself was undergoing a transformation. The technology gained from the war effort and subsequent alien contact had catapulted human science forward by decades, if not centuries. Dr. Samantha Chen, now heading the newly established Institute for Xenotechnology, found herself at the forefront of this scientific revolution. "The potential applications are staggering," she explained to a panel of wide-eyed government officials. "From clean energy to medical breakthroughs, we're just scratching the surface of what's possible." One of the most significant developments came in the field of space travel. Reverse-engineered Vraxian fold drives, combined with luminary sensor technology, allowed for the creation of a new generation of human starships capable of crossing vast interstellar distances. The first of these ships, the UNSS Hope, prepared for its maiden voyage under the command of the now legendary Colonel Elena Rodriguez. As she stood on the bridge, looking out at the star-filled expanse before her, Rodriguez felt a sense of awe and purpose. "My fellow explorers," she addressed her crew, a mix of humans and alien allies, "we carry with us the hopes and dreams of not just Earth, but countless worlds looking to us for leadership. Let's show them what humanity can do." Back on Earth, the integration of alien technology and culture was not without its challenges. Conservative factions warned of the dangers of too much, too fast, while others pushed for even greater openness to galactic influence. General Marcus Hawthorne, transitioning from his wartime role to that of a key advisor on extraterrestrial affairs, often found himself mediating these disputes. "We can't stick our heads in the sand," he argued during one particularly heated debate. "But neither can we lose sight of what makes us human. It's a balance we'll have to strike carefully." One of the most pressing issues facing Earth was the fate of the defeated Vraxians. With their hive mind shattered, the once fearsome conquerors were now a scattered, confused species struggling to rediscover their individuality. It was Major Zara Khalil, the hero of the final battle, who proposed a controversial solution. "We did this to them," she said, her voice firm as she addressed the United Nations. "We have a responsibility to help them find a new way forward." Despite significant opposition, a plan was put in place to assist in the rehabilitation and reintegration of the Vraxians into galactic society. It was a monumental undertaking, one that would test the limits of human compassion and ingenuity. As these efforts unfolded, Earth continued to make its mark on the galactic stage. Human creativity and adaptability proved to be valuable assets in solving problems that had puzzled other races for centuries. Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka, applying his cybersecurity expertise to alien systems, uncovered and neutralized a millennia-old AI trap that had been lurking in the databanks of several civilizations. The feat earned him accolades across the galaxy and opened up new avenues for cooperation in the field of information technology. Meanwhile, the unlikely friendship between Dr. Chen and the luminary scientist Zira led to breakthroughs in cross-species medical treatments, saving countless lives and fostering greater understanding between diverse alien physiologies. As the years passed, humanity's influence continued to grow. Earth became a hub of interstellar commerce and cultural exchange. The Sol system, once an unremarkable corner of the galaxy, was now a shining beacon of innovation and cooperation. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. New challenges arose, from aggressive expansionist alien empires to natural disasters on a cosmic scale. Yet each time, humanity rose to meet these challenges, often in ways that surprised and impressed their alien allies. A decade after the defeat of the Vraxians, Ambassador Yoshida once again stood before the Galactic Council. The chamber, now expanded to accommodate even more diverse species, hummed with anticipation. Fellow sentients, Yoshida began, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. 10 years ago, I stood before you as the representative of a species taking its first tentative steps onto the galactic stage. Today, I stand before you as a partner, a friend, and dare I say, a leader in our shared journey towards a brighter future. She paused, looking out at the assembled representatives. Faces both familiar and strange looked back at her, united in their attention. We have faced challenges that would have once seemed insurmountable. We have forged alliances that span the stars. And we have learned, time and time again, that our strength lies not in our differences, but in our shared hopes and dreams. As Yoshida's words echoed through the chamber, on Earth, in ships traversing the cosmos, and on distant alien worlds, humans and their allies watched and listened. They were witnessing not just a speech, but the culmination of a journey that had taken humanity from a solitary species on a small blue planet to a pivotal force in the galaxy. The road ahead will not be easy, Yoshida continued, her voice filled with determination. There will be new challenges, new threats, new wonders to explore. But I stand here today with the unshakable belief that together, there is nothing we cannot overcome. As she concluded her speech to thunderous applause from a myriad of alien appendages, the message was clear. Humanity had not just survived its trial by fire. It had emerged as a beacon of hope for the entire galaxy. From the depths of space to the heart of alien worlds, a new saying began to spread, first as a whisper, then as a rallying cry. When the universe throws its worst at you, sit tight. Humanity's got your back. And as the stars wheeled overhead, as ships bearing the flag of Earth ventured ever further into the unknown, humanity looked to the future not with fear, but with boundless excitement and determination. Their greatest adventure was just beginning.